It can be hard living up to the expectations of millions of people, and this is a struggle that celebrities know all too well. While some can handle the pressure and thrive, others break down and may turn to destructive habits as a coping mechanism. When the popular actor Grantham broke down from the pressure of the spotlight, his life spiraled down a dark path. Unknown to his family and the public, Ryan slipped into substance abuse and spent most of his time surfing the dark web and coming up with nefarious plans. This included a plan to murder Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Welcome back to YARO Crime. Today we'll be taking a look at a really interesting case that didn't get much publicity thanks to the pandemic. Before we continue, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel, as it goes a long way in supporting the channel. Thanks. Now sit back as we dive into the story of Ryan Grantham. Ryan Grantham was born in 1998 to Barbara Waite, and he grew up in the beautiful province of British Columbia. His mother, Barbara, was youthful and healthy, and she enjoyed being outdoors and engaging in activities like rock climbing and kayaking. She was also a loving and nurturing mother to her two children, Lisa and Ryan. Soon after Ryan was born, Barbara discovered that he had a real talent and passion for acting, and she decided to support his dreams and help him build a career. This led to Ryan appearing on TV commercials, short films, and minor roles in cinema when he was only 8 years old. Although his early acting career can only be described as mildly successful, it was enough to carry Ryan throughout his childhood and into his teenage years. Ryan got his first big break in 2010, when he was cast as Rodney Jones in the children's movie Diary of a Wimpy Kid. This marked a sort of turnaround in his career, as he would start to play several minor roles in more successful and higher-budget films and TV shows. However, despite playing alongside famous actors like Johnny Depp, Ryan was rarely a lead actor. Ryan's only other big role would come in 2016, when he was cast as the lead character Tommy in the feature film Considering Love and Other Magic. Despite the lack of major lead roles, Ryan did have quite a successful career, receiving multiple nominations in British Columbia's Neo Awards and winning Best Male Actor at the Vancouver Shorts Film Festival for his role in the 2011 movie Liz. Ryan's family had always been in full support of his career and encouraged him every step of the way. Sadly, towards the latter days of his career, his mother Barbara was diagnosed with cancer. No one knows for sure if it was the result of his mother's diagnosis or the pressure of the spotlight, but Ryan soon began to display a few disturbing behaviors, and this was when his life began to spiral down a dark path. Ryan was able to hide some of these habits from his family, and as he struggled with depression, he began to abuse alcohol and weed. In addition to these self-destructive behaviors, Ryan also had suicidal thoughts. Ryan kept his struggles to himself as he was scared of his mother finding out, because he knew she would be very disappointed. All this negatively affected his mental state and resulted in Ryan secretly dropping out of school at Simon Fraser University without informing his family. Ryan began to spend a lot of time alone in his room, away from everyone, and this was when his infatuation with the dark web started. He would spend a lot of time watching violent and graphic videos, a habit which was harmful to his already unstable mind, and before long, he would begin to develop homicidal fantasies on a regular basis. Ryan wrote down his thoughts and fantasies in his journal, where he recorded his twisted and disturbed thoughts. His diary contained notes on how he loathed himself and plans to create Molotov cocktails. Even more disturbing was the fact that his diary contained lots of notes on torture plans he would inflict on people. In March 2020, during the pandemic, Ryan created a catalogue of his twisted plans, and unknown to the rest of his family, he decided to carry out a few of his plans before ultimately taking his own life. Even as they struggled with the diagnosis that cast a shadow over their family, Lisa and Barbara continued to support Ryan as much as they could. But events would soon occur that would permanently change the life of the Granthams. April 1st, 2020. The streets were quiet and lockdown restrictions were in full effect. While almost everyone was used to the new normal imposed by the pandemic, the quietness was strange for Lisa Grantham. This was because she had not heard from her mother or brother for over 2 days, and she knew this was out of character for Barbara, as she usually made contact with her daughter daily. Her worries were also compounded by the fact that Barbara was vulnerable and required treatment. With all this in mind, Lisa decided to drive over to Barbara's townhouse despite the restrictions to check up on her. When she arrived, the house was eerily silent. The grand piano in the home was also covered in a plastic tarp, and candles had been placed throughout the entire room. The entire scene was puzzling, prompting Lisa to take a closer look, and what she saw would remain etched in her memory forever. Lisa soon realized that underneath the plastic tarp was a motionless human collapsed over the piano. Horrified, she called the police immediately, and the body was identified as that of Barbara. Lisa, saddened by the news, thought of Ryan and how she would break the news to him. Unknown to her, he was already in police custody after confessing to killing his own mother. I know everything you've heard up till this point is strange and disturbing, but this story is about to get even stranger. Leading to March 31st, Ryan already displayed worrying and bizarre behaviors, all recorded in his diary. When officers went through his diary, they saw that Ryan had outlined a clear plan to assassinate Canadian's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for reasons unknown. Maps were drawn and a well-detailed time frame was arranged. Ryan was hell-bent on the idea. He had even marked his next target to be his university. It was now clear to the authorities that Ryan was a disturbed, depressed, and destructive young man. He told the authorities that he had to take his mother out first, because he didn't want to cause her any pain or see her disappointments. So while Barbara played the piano, he took his pistol, shut his eyes, and pulled the trigger, killing his own mother. Moments after killing Barbara, Ryan grabbed his camera and filmed her lifeless body. He also recorded a video where he confessed to killing his mother. The next morning, after Ryan murdered his mother, he covered Barbara's corpse and the piano with a plastic tarp, lit candles, and hung a rosary in what seemed to be his idea of a ceremonial lying in state. Ryan planned to carry out the next stage of his plan on this day, and that was to assassinate the Canadian Prime Minister. Before leaving, Ryan had to make one last entry on his diary. "I'm so sorry, Mum. I'm so sorry, Lisa. I hate myself. There's a lot of me out there in films and to hundreds of hours of me that can be viewed and dissected. No one would understand." Afterwards, he was ready to go, packing his car with 3 guns, ammunition, and 12 Molotov cocktails. Expecting to be on the run, he also took camping supplies. Taking a map from his diary, Ryan was ready to drive 50 hours to the Prime Minister's cottage, open fire, and set the house ablaze. However, after driving 150 miles east to the town of Hope, Ryan's resolve changed, and he then decided to go off at his university instead. Turning around and heading towards the university, he once again felt overwhelmed and decided to stop at a local parking lot where he considered ending his life, since nothing was going according to plan. Ryan, however, chose to stay alive, as that was the best way to pay for his mother's death. It was at that moment Ryan decided to drive himself to a police station and hand himself over. He confessed his crime to the officers and was arrested. Just as mentioned before, it was at this moment Lisa walked into the townhouse to find Barbara's lifeless corpse. Ryan justified his mother's death, saying he saved her from the emotional pain and disappointment she would have felt from his actions. It is now obvious that he valued opinions more than his mother's life. He knew he was a monster, but didn't want to be seen as one. Due to COVID, it took 2 years for Ryan to face trial. During the trial, a psychological evaluation showed that he had developed a psychosis due to his heavy substance abuse. Alcohol and marijuana, substances that could be enjoyed when abused, could distort one's mental state, just like in Ryan's case. Due to Ryan's mental state, his initial sentence of first-degree murder was later changed to second-degree murder. This was not good news for Ryan, as a second-degree murder in Canada can still result in a life sentence. At the end of his hearing, Ryan was sentenced to life in prison, with a minimum of 14 years behind bars. He is currently serving his sentence at a secure facility that specializes in mental health treatment. Lisa still remains devastated by the loss of her mother, especially since it was done by a family member. Barbie, as some folks call Barbara, will be remembered by family and friends as a cheerful, free-spirited, and adventurous woman. May her soul rest in peace. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think about this case in the comments, and please do not forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date with our latest videos.